XRP's normal market cap multiplier ranges from 100x to 600x. This means it's going to be 100 to 600 times easier for us to get to these higher prices for XRP. Don't believe me? I understand. There's a lot of people that don't really understand market cap multiplier. So, in today's video, I wanted to show you actual real proof of a market cap multiplier in action with Bitcoin. I also wanted to give you some early information on what institution stock market cap multipliers would be. There's also a BIS report on market cap multipliers. Then we're going to get into how big this is going to be for XRP and maybe some other crypto assets that we own. First, let's go ahead and take a look at the data that we already have. This is in front of us. If we bother to look for it, we'll be very surprised. Let me show you this. So, what is the market cap multiplier, or in this case, a Bitcoin multiplier? The Bitcoin multiplier measures how much Bitcoin market capitalization increases for every net inflow from investors. It reflects the asset's price sensitivity to new capital. It is especially relevant when analyzing the impact of large regulated investment products like spot Bitcoin ETFs. So, before all of this kind of kicked off the ETF season, and Bank of America in March put out a report. They thought that for every $1 that went into Bitcoin through these ETFs, that it would hit the market cap multiplier of 118x. We also had other institutions looking between 48 and 106x. We have JP Morgan Securities said that for every $1 that went into the spot Bitcoin ETF, that it would change the market cap 25x. But what is it really? Is it 25? Is it 100? Is there some real-life examples that we can take a look at? The answer is absolutely. Let me give you an example from this week. Here is an example of July 2025 inflows. For the week ending in July 13, 2025, the US Bitcoin ETF saw net inflows of $2.7 billion. It was $1.76 billion from BlackRock alone. The $2.7 billion in ETF inflows coincided with the price movement of $111,800 to $123,100. That is a $1,300 increase, or 10%, which means that moved Bitcoin's market cap by a 74x. Now you have to understand the XRP ledger and other crypto assets don't have nearly as much liquidity as Bitcoin does. So, if Bitcoin is still moving at a 74x for every $1 going in Bitcoin, it moves at $74 in market cap. What is the market cap multiplier for XRP? That is what I want to get into here. I did want to show you some information from this BIS report. They thought it was so important that they needed to write a whole paper on it. I believe this is like 30 pages of stuff that I'm not going to bore you with. But I did get some initial context here. I want to put it up on the screen so you can better understand what the BIS is saying about this. So, they said the crypto multiplier is a concept that measures how much cryptocurrency's market capitalization responds to aggregate inflows or outflows of investor funds. So, if you have the inflows that are moving the market cap 74x, if you have sales of those same outflows, you can see a 74x drop in the market cap as well. So it does swing both ways. It is defined as the ratio of total number of coins to the number of coins actually used for payments rather than held as investments. When most coins are held for investment and are not used for payments, the crypto multiplier is large, meaning even smaller investor inflows or outflows can cause large price swings. And it talks about why is this important? The high volatility of cryptocurrency exchange rates is linked to the crypto multiplier because most coins are held as investments. Price changes are amplified. It does talk about for major cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, the majority of coins are inactive, not used for payments. Over 75% of Bitcoin and 60% of Ethereum, implying a large multiplier. And it does have amplified reactions. This helps explain why prices react sharply to news such as big investor moves, celebrity endorsements, or financial crisis. Here is the actual math that it's showing in the report. I'm not going to go through this with everybody because I don't want to, have you click off the video. But it is right there. If you want to geek out on it, please do. They do give some real-world illustrations or examples of this. But I don't really want to focus on these because these are from years ago, and they don't really kind of tell me what I need to know in the 2025 market. But the broader implications of all of this in the report say the collateral list, the liquidation value of large crypto holdings may be much lower than their market cap due to the multi-Meyer effect. So if we see a 170, let me see here, CoinMarketCap. The market cap for XRP here is $174 billion market cap. There is not $174 billion worth of liquidity on the XRP ledger, so the market cap. So what's actually available is a lot less than what you're seeing in the market cap itself. And so it does talk about persistent volatility unless cryptocurrencies are used more as payment tools. Instead of investment vehicles, high volatility is likely to persist. Market size, larger cryptocurrencies by market cap tend to be less volatile, but the multiplier effect remains significant. So it's interesting because I hadn't seen this report before. I've made a few videos on market cap multipliers because I really wanted to understand this concept. But having the BIS explain this to me does kind of give it some more validation in my mind. That means like, hey, this is not something that I am like making up out of thin air. This is something that scholars and institutions have spent a lot of time to understand. And now we get to understand it, and I think it's going to be impactful. Let me show you some interesting stuff for the XRP ledger, because I know that's why you're here. Love to have you here for that. In a 12-hour move, XRP jumped 20 from 248 to 268. It had a net inflow of about 114 million, and that changed the market cap 11.399 billion. And there's so many examples, and I want to thank Chad Steingraber for posting all of this great information. He does a really good job, and I've shown you these reports before. But what I want to get into is the XRP side, because if Bitcoin is still seeing a 74x in July 2025, what is expected for XRP? We have the spot ETFs on the horizon. Those are coming, right? We've seen billions, $100 billion or more flow into Bitcoin. Now we're thinking, hey, XRP has an incredible use case. Ripple is becoming a bank. They are working with some of the biggest institutions on the planet. This has got to be helpful to us, right? Let's get into that information. So if you really want to read through this again, please do. I'm not going to read what is a market cap multiplier. I feel like if we got into this point in the video and I haven't explained this well enough, I do apologize. But here it is, if you want to read through it again. But here's some recent data, because that's what what's most important, right? Like, what are we seeing right now? Multipliers for XRP have ranged between 200x and 600x in 2025. That means if we're trying to get to, $10, $100 using these calculations and numbers, it's going to be 200 times easier, up to 600 times easier, to get to those types of market cap and those prices for us. That's what I see. Let me know what you see down below, because I know a lot of you have some really unique knowledge in this space. And I'd love to better understand how you're seeing this information as I go through it. In one instance, $80 million in net inflows led to a $17 billion increase in market cap for XRP. That was a 2 on 22x example. Here's another example. Another event saw 12.87 million in inflows, resulting in 7.7 billion in market cap jump. That is a 601x multiplier for XRP. Now there's a 17 million inflow that was a 637x, and multipliers of 5 to 600 have been observed multiple times over the past year. It does say key takeaways. XRP's market cap is highly responsive to new money, with multipliers often exceeding those seen in Bitcoin. Especially during periods of low liquidity and heightened speculation, which is exactly what we are experiencing right now, ladies and gentlemen. It does give you some comparisons to XRP versus Bitcoin market cap launch comparison, and talks about circulating supply and all of these things. I'm not really going to get into that right now, because we're not here to compare Bitcoin to XRP. I'm just trying to show you some data that I had on Bitcoin being at a 74x and stuff that I wanted to show you here on XRP. But here are the short-term multipliers likely to remain 200 to 600x range under the current market condition. This means that even the modest inflows, especially those driven by news, regulatory clarity, or ETF launches, can have an outsized price effect on the price. And so here's some information that I wanted to put together, since we have all of these examples from January and April and June. Right here are the multipliers. What would happen if we used these exact multipliers that it was finding from these inflows? If we got 10 billion, 50 billion, or 100 billion worth of ETF inflows, or if we got these type of inflows into XRP with these multipliers, what would we be looking at in for the price? Now, take a deep breath. I understand that some of these prices are going to be like, Sensei, this is crazy. I just tried to show you all of the data backing up my conclusions here, and I hope that was enough. But here are the prices. So inflow is here. 10 billion all the way down to 100 billion. Here are the multipliers that I took from the examples that is giving me from factual data. And here's the market cap increases and the projected price for XRP. So let's just take a look at 10 billion first. If we get a 100x multiplier on 10 billion, we'd be looking at a $17 XRP. That would be great for a lot of people. This could, it would retire a lot of people that own, tens of millions of XRP. But for the lot of us, this is kind of going to feel good, but this is not full retirement, right? And so we look at 10 billion. We look at a 200x, we look at 600x, we look at 647x, 647x. We may be looking at a 3-digit XRP with 10 billion inflows, which is not a lot, considering how much money is about to enter the crypto space. There are trillions of dollars sitting on the sidelines waiting to enter, and this could be that opportunity. Legal clarity in the United States, stablecoin regulation in the United States. This will equal more inflows. Here is 50 billion with 100x to 600x, you'd be looking at 86 to 557. Now, if we went to 100 billion at 100x, you would be looking at $172 price for XRP. Or if we got a 600x multiplier, we would be looking at a $1,000 XRP. You see how it's a little bit easier to manage these higher prices when you consider this information. Now, there's going to become a point where the market cap multiplier won't be, 100x or 500x or something like that, right? But Bitcoin's market cap is what? Bitcoin's market cap is 2.3 trillion, and we're still seeing a 74x multiplier with Bitcoin. So this will continue into the trillions of dollars of market cap for XRP. And hopefully, this will retire a lot of us when this is all said and done. You have to understand we have CBDCs launching around the world. We have the new ISO 2022 standard. We have real-world asset tokenization on the XRP ledger. We're tokenizing debt. We're tokenizing real estate. Where do you believe this market will be in 5 years or 10 years from now? How many more trillions will flow on-chain? And when those trillions flow on-chain, will those have a multiplier effect as well? These are all things that I am thinking about every minute of every day. I hope this helped you better understand at least how I think about market cap multipliers and how I think a lot of people are underestimating the impact this is going to have on our favorite crypto assets, not just XRP or Bitcoin, but everything else. Because you got to understand, if XRP is seeing a 100 to a 600x multiplier, things that are a lot lower than XRP, like Filecoin or some of these other ones, their market cap multipliers will probably be even higher. XDC, those types of things I think are waiting to explode. If you want me to do some more deep dives on market cap multipliers on other ISO tokens, please let me know because I live for this stuff. Now this is just a thrill and a rush for me. Yeah, that was my best opportunity to show you market multers and why I'm bullish. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. If you got value, guys, if you made it to the end, please hit like, share with somebody you know, leave a comment, help get this in front of more people. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic week ahead. I'm so happy to be on this journey with you. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.